If you have someone in your life who has narcissistic personality disorder, then you know how his or her behavior can impact the lives of everyone around them in great and small ways. But often, it's the spouse of the person with the disorder who suffers the most. Catenya McHenry knows far too well what that experience is like, and that's why she's turned it into a book to help others reclaim their lives. It's aptly called Married to a Narcissist. Catenya, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here because a lot of people are experiencing this, but they can't quite put their finger on it.
Yes.
So narcissism, a lot of people think that it is just taking a lot of selfies, thinking I'm so beautiful, a lot of vanity, but it's a lot deeper than that,
Yes,
right?
it goes beyond just simple vanity and paying attention to your looks. It is a personality disorder where the person is constantly manipulative. They are verbal abusers, they are psychological abusers, they are mental abusers, and they're very manipulative. So they will manipulate situations so that everything somehow comes back to them and everything is about them. And it's in every relationship they have, whether it's with their spouse, at work, or even with their children. They don't do things for the sake of other people. They do things that benefit themselves. And they will only involve themselves in situations that will somehow benefit them. If it has nothing to do with them, they don't want to be involved in that situation. And then they make you feel guilty for that particular thing.
And it is a disorder.
Yes.
It's something that is clinically diagnosed. So I think people don't want to necessarily believe that. They just think that the person is being manipulative just because that's just the way that they are. But it is something that is clinically wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is a series of them being enabled in some way, and they only surround themselves with people who won't disagree with them, people who will tell them they're doing nothing wrong, and they also don't have the ability to self-examine. They won't look inside and say, oh, maybe I was wrong, and they won't apologize for things that you point out to them as well. So it's a very difficult relationship to have with someone who is a narcissist.
And so you wrote this book because you experienced this firsthand.
Yes, I was married. Yes, I was married for almost 10 years. And I was, from the beginning, when we were first married, I started journaling because there were so many experiences that I was going through. And as a writer and a journalist, that was where I sort of put my expression and put my pain, because I didn't know how to talk about what was happening. And I didn't even know how to describe it because some of the situations were so shocking and so outrageous. It was unbelievable that those things were happening to me. So after journaling for years, last summer I looked at all of the content and the material that I had and realized, oh my gosh, that's a lot of content. Do I do something with that? What do I do with it? So I started reading back, and that was probably the most excruciating part, was reading back some of the personal experiences. Yes, and that was the most painful thing, because it was a realization of how could a person be so strategically mean and hateful and evil to another human being.
But you channeled through that pain.
Yes.
You wrote this book in an effort to help others, and I know that you have some practical tips that people who are experiencing this can use.
Yes. So the first half is my journal entries, which are very raw and very pure. And the second half is just how to deal with the narcissist. And really, and this goes, this is practical for people who are married to one, maybe even dating one, and trying to understand what's happening and also understand if this is a relationship they should be in. So I talk about different ways, and I give different scenarios that are general scenarios about how to handle a person, how to handle the exchange that you have with the narcissist.
I think that's really important, because nowadays we're hearing more and more about narcissism, whether it's with celebrities or politicians or co-workers or what have you. So the tips that you have in this book, it stems beyond romantic relationships. We can use that in everyday lives? Absolutely,
because people are married to one, people have parents that are narcissists, people work with narcissists, and then once you understand their behavior, you can better understand how to deal with them and how to separate yourself, because really that's the only way to bring some internal peace back to your life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for writing this book and for being here. If you want to check it out, go to Amazon.com and anywhere books are sold. We'll be right back with more Midday Maryland right after the break.